For decades, if you asked, what's the most popular sneaker in the world, the answer was simple. You just look down, and more often than not, you'd see a swoosh. In the last few years, something began to shift in the global sneaker market. In the most fashion-forward cities, from New York to Paris to Tokyo, the shoes generating the most conversation weren't always the ones with a swoosh. For the first time in a generation, the cultural dominance that Nike spent decades and billions of dollars building started to show its first real cracks. This isn't the story of a single sneaker. It's the story of a fundamental change of the guard, an industry-wide disruption that is challenging the very definition of what a sneaker can be. For many decades, Nike has been the undisputed leader in the sneaker world, an omnipresent force with a staggering brand awareness in the US of 96%. It wasn't just a company, it was a cultural institution. Models like the Air Force One and the entire Air Jordan series moved beyond footwear to become genuine cultural artifacts, shaping fashion, music, and sports. The brand's "Just Do It" slogan became a global mantra for aspiration. But that near total control of the market and the cultural conversation is now facing its most significant test, not from one single rival, but from a coordinated pincer movement of old enemies and new challengers. To understand how this happened, you have to understand the three core shifts challenging Nike's throne. First, how its oldest rivals revitalized their brands by weaponizing nostalgia and tapping into deep cultural roots. Second, how a new wave of disruptive challengers emerged from niche sports to change the very definition of what a sneaker should look and feel like. And finally, how Nike's own strategic missteps accidentally created the perfect opportunity for its competitors to gain ground. The first challenge came from familiar faces. Adidas, Nike's historic rival, staged a massive comeback. It achieved this by shifting focus to its classic, low-profile silhouettes like the Samba and Gazelle. Originally designed for indoor soccer and training, these shoes perfectly captured a widespread shift towards retro, vintage-inspired styles. Tapping into subcultures like European terrace fashion and getting co-signed by fashion influencers, Adidas turned its heritage into its sharpest weapon. This strategy was so effective that Adidas is now forecast to continue gaining market share from Nike into 2025. Meanwhile, New Balance, once dismissed as the quintessential dad shoe, executed a masterful transformation. The brand embraced its uncool reputation and leaned into its history of quality and comfort. Through savvy collaborations with tastemakers like Aimé Leon d'Or and a focus on models like the Heritage 990 series and the trendy 1906R, New Balance became a staple for a younger, fashion-conscious audience. Both brands proved that in a market saturated with limited edition hype, a deep connection to authentic heritage could be a powerful and profitable advantage. But it's the new challengers that represent a more fundamental and perhaps more dangerous threat. Brands like On, Hoka, and Salomon, originally from the worlds of performance running and alpine sports, have broken into the mainstream. Hoka, founded in France in 2009, gained a cult following for its maximalist cushioning, a direct contrast to the minimalist trend at the time. Its oversized midsoles offered unparalleled comfort, attracting not just ultra-marathon runners, but everyday wearers, from healthcare workers to fashion editors. This dual appeal drove revenues up a staggering 11.1% to $634.1 million in the second quarter of its 2026 fiscal year.
Salomon, a French brand founded in 1947, transitioned from a specialist in ski equipment to a streetwear phenomenon. Its technical, function-first aesthetic became the poster child for a new trend known as gorpcore, where outdoor and hiking gear is worn in urban settings. Models like the XT6, once designed for trail running, are now a common sight in the most fashionable neighborhoods. Then there's On, the Swiss brand that promised to make running feel like running on clouds. Its patented cloud tech technology, featuring hollow pods on the sole that cushion on landing and provide a firm takeoff, offered a unique sensation that quickly built a loyal following. Backed by tennis legend Roger Federer, On blended its high-performance credibility with a sleek, minimalist design that gave it a broad appeal. These brands aren't just selling shoes, they're selling a different idea of fashion, one rooted in function, technology, and an identity outside of traditional sportswear. The foundation for this entire market shift isn't a single product, it's a change in the consumer. The global sneaker market, projected to grow from around $100 billion in 2024 to $165 billion by 2030, is becoming more fragmented. Shoppers, especially younger ones, are increasingly looking for brands that reflect their personal style and niche interests, not just the dominant trend dictated by a single behemoth. This has opened the door for normcore sneakers, styles characterized by simple, minimally branded designs that prioritize versatility over hype. It has also fueled a growing interest in conscious consumerism and sustainability, creating a vulnerability for larger players who have faced questions about their manufacturing and environmental impact. Today's consumer is just as likely to be impressed by an innovative recycled material as they are by a celebrity endorsement. So, how does an empire respond when its walls are breached? After a challenging 2024 that saw its stock price take a historic plunge, Nike is in the middle of a massive strategic pivot. The company has admitted it over-rotated on its consumer direct strategy. That initiative, launched in 2017, aimed to boost profits and control brand image by cutting ties with many wholesale retailers and focusing on its own stores and website. But in doing so, Nike accidentally gave its competitors more shelf space and visibility in crucial retail outlets, a mistake it's now rushing to correct by re-engaging with partners like Foot Locker and Dick's Sporting Goods. Internally, the company is launching a Win Now initiative, focused on faster innovation cycles and a renewed emphasis on its performance roots. After a period where its innovation seemed to lag, Nike is investing nearly $1 billion in 2025 to bolster design, product creation, and sports marketing. It recently announced a unified innovation engine to accelerate athlete-focused breakthroughs, debuting new platforms like AeroFit for cooling, and even a motor-powered shoe concept called Project Amplify. The goal is to reclaim the narrative of cutting-edge performance that it once owned. So what does this all mean? Has Nike's playbook for market dominance finally been decoded, or is this just a temporary disruption for a giant regaining its footing? Critics rightly point out that despite the gains of its rivals, Nike remains the largest and most influential sneaker brand in the world. Its projected revenue for 2025 still dwarfs its competitors, and its cultural footprint, built over half a century, is immense. But what is clear is that the era of a single brand holding a monopoly on cool is over. The market has fundamentally changed. By combining a deep loyalty to heritage, a bold embrace of new technology, and a direct response to a fragmented and discerning consumer base, the challengers have proven that there are multiple paths to success. They have shown that an athletic brand can be a fashion brand, a tech company, or an outdoor gear outfitter. The goal is no longer just to chart on sneaker blogs, it's to chart on the balance sheets of a rapidly evolving, multifaceted industry. Nike hasn't fallen, but the ground beneath its throne is shaking.